unit, 6 unit. So hello friends, today we are going to see reciprocating compressor part 3. In previous two videos, two lectures, we saw what is the reciprocating compressor, in that how it is work if there is no clearance, without clearance. Okay, single stage without clearance. In second part, we saw when the clearance volume is given, then what is the impact. And the third part, it is based on multi-staging of compressor. So what is its necessity and why we go for a multi-staging? So let's start today's video. Now multi-stage compression with intercooling. Whenever we go for a number of stage, so before entering to second stage, we have to cool down that air, compress air, because we have to improve the volumetric efficiency. Now here we are taking a case of two cylinder, that means two stage. Now first stage, it is called as low pressure compression cylinder, so LP. High pressure compression cylinder is HP. Externally we can observe it, which one is the low pressure and which one is the high pressure. Low pressure compressor cylinder having a larger diameter, and high pressure compressor cylinder having a smaller diameter, but both the cylinders are connected to the same crankshaft, so stroke length remains same, even though the diameter are different, but stroke length of both the cylinder remains same. Now in this, we are saying this is low pressure, this is high pressure. Okay, air definitely we are taking in from atmosphere only. We are not storing air in any tank whenever we run any compressor. So intake of air will be from atmosphere. So it is obvious case we are taking atmospheric pressure and temperature air during intake. So when we start our compressor, so from this point intake, atmospheric temperature air will suck inside the low pressure compressor. During suction stroke, when delivery strokes happen, that's when piston moving towards TDC, so that air get compressed, and whatever be the set pressure of this low pressure cylinder delivery valve, when that pressure is attained, that delivery valve get open and piston movement will displace that compressed air. So intake pressure of air is P1 T1. After low pressure cylinder operation compression, we get air at higher pressure P2 and higher temperature T2. So we know the basic law, when pressure is increased, so definitely temperature going to increase. So now the temperature of compressed air is more, but as the temperature is high, that air try to expand. That means this compressed air is already in expanded form. Now if I allow same properties, same condition air into HP cylinder, what happened? Already it is in expanded form. So HP cylinder work will be lost to reduce the expansion. Then after it will going to compress further. So what we did, after P2, P and T2, that means outlet of LP cylinder, we pass through intercooler. There are many type of intercooler: air cooled intercooler, water cooled intercooler, liquid cooled intercooler, even though refrigeration system is adopted to intercool. So when this outlet of LP cylinder pass through intercooler, so intercooler reduce the temperature of this compressed air. So temperature reduces, that means that air contracted. So now the density of air is more, pressure wise P2, temperature wise T3. So outlet of intercooler is P2, T3. T3 is obviously lesser than T2. So your expanded compressed air get shrink, contract. Now this condition air we supply to HP cylinder. Now whatever be the operation take place, compression, so HP cylinder increase the pressure further up to delivery pressure. When delivery pressure reach, then its delivery valve get open, and that property compressed air is supplied to any storing device, most commonly a tank, air tank. So overall, we are taken in air from atmosphere, that is P1 T1 condition. It is firstly compressed to low pressure cylinder, that is LP cylinder, and its pressure become P2 and T2. Then after it is passed through intercooler. Intercooler, it reduce the temperature, and P2 and T3 will be the temperature. This will allow to pass or inducted in HP cylinder. HP cylinder again compressed to very high pressure, and then outlet we get a P4 T4 condition of compressed air. This will going to store in any storage device. If I plot on PV diagram, so PV diagram of two-stage compressor will be look like this. When it is considered without clearance, so if there is no clearance, so your suction started from this point up to point 1. Then after, if I am compressing, this P1 is a suction pressure and P3 is a delivery pressure, the actual outlet of this compressor which we intended at this pressure, that is a P3. So P3 is a delivery pressure, P1 is the suction pressure. So we are changing air pressure from P1 to P3. Now imagine if I use a single stage compressor. Single stage compressor, that means everything is compressed in a one step. So the air compressed from 1 to P3, that is 0.6. So our curve will be like this, 1 to 6. Then it reach to delivery pressure P3 at 0.6. Then after it will deliver out. But the drawback is that to compress to high pressure in a single stage, we have to make our construction of compressor very robust. And at the same time, we have to provide a lot of work power. If I achieve the same pressure rise, but in two steps. So first step, after suction, point 1 to 2, I am compressing in LP cylinder. So this is a LP cylinder operation, 1 to 2. So no doubt at point 2, pressure is rise from P1 to P2, but at the same time, due to compression, temperature is also increased. So from 2, I am passing that compressed air to intercooler. So intercooler will reduce its temperature. So as the temperature reducing, its volume gets shrink. So as higher temperature, it is at expanded form. So as intercooler decreasing its temperature, so it is going to shrink without losing any pressure. So it is a shrink. So our volume is reducing. So on y-axis, we observe that the volume is reducing from 2 to 3. So reduction in volume take place. This 3 point is the outlet of intercooler. So outlet of intercooler is P2 pressure, temperature reduced T3. This will inserted into now HP cylinder. In HP cylinder, it will compress further and it will reach to delivery pressure P3 at 0.4. Then it will be a delivery stroke. So if I compress in a single stage, so compression process will be 1 to 6. If I go with a two stage, so compression process will be 1 to 2. 2 to 3 is intercooling, and then 3 to 4 again second stage compressor. That means this shaded area does not play any role if I am going for multi-stage. That means this much work is reduced if I am going for multi-staging. So the best advantage or the most important advantage of this multi-staging is it is reducing the actual work input to the compressor. So it reduces the power, input power of that electric motor. So multi-staging is beneficial to reduce the overall work input to the compressor. And
हॅलो सर.
secondly, yes.
सर आपण वर्क सेव्ह करतो इथं टू स्टेज मध्ये, पण इंटरकुलरला पण वर्क ऍब्झॉर्ब करतं ना, पण
Intercooler is
तिथे पण
different.
वर्क लॉस होणार ना?
No, intercooler are a different kind of intercooler. Suppose it is a air cooled intercooler, just like your bike engine, fins are provided. So your bike engine, we don't provide any power to cool down it when your bike mm, run on a road. So opposite side air blow automatically cooled it. But if it is a liquid cool, so definitely we have to provide some water pump, liquid pump, circulation, radiator, all this. So most of the application we prefer air cooling system. But where we have to maintain a proper temperature, then only we are go for liquid cooling or refrigerating cooling system. Definitely there will be a power loss to run that intercooling system, but that power loss is not that much which is required for a single stage. That means suppose multi-staging, reducing your power loss by 10%, but intercooler absorbing power 2%. So ultimately how much you are saying? So 8% you are definitely going to save. So like that, even though your intercooler having power absorbing devices like a pump and all, then also multi-staging going to save the net work done. And design point of view, no doubt your engine will be not that much bulky and robust. Okay. Now in various application, now here we can observe that this 3-point and 3-point are different. When we maintain throughout the compression process same temperature, the intake temperature suppose 28 degrees centigrade, during compression if we are maintaining same 28 degrees centigrade, then we follow the isothermal compression process, and in isothermal compression only we get the minimum work requirement, this dotted red line. But isothermal compression is not possible. So here we obtain 3-point different than 3-. But imagine if you are using some refrigeration system and you bring back your compressed air to initial temperature. That means your T3 temperature will be equal to T1. So initial intake temperature of air T1, after intercooling, which having suppose refrigeration system and all, after intercooling again you bring back that temperature T3 to T1. That means it is called perfect intercooling. Right now whatever be the PV diagram show, it is not perfect, it is imperfect, because 3-point is not lie on this isothermal curve. If I go with a perfect intercooling, then 3-point will be on 3-. That means whatever be the intake temperature at point 1, same temperature will be at point 3-. That is called perfect intercooling. Now let's see some advantages of intercooling. So there are number of advantages. One is work, whatever be the work we required, it is saved. The work done per kg of air can be reduced by introducing intercooling. So work definitely going to save. Better mechanical balance. What it means? Suppose I am compressing that air from P1 to P3 in a single stage. So I have to provide a lot of work, and to resist that force, I have to provide a high quality bearing, high bearing strength. So mechanical balancing become difficult in that case. But if I go with a multi-staging, so each stage there is a less work done. So I have to provide bearings or balancing. It become very easy as compared to single stage. Third advantage is pressure and the temperature range in each stage is limited. If I am compressing with a single stage, so definitely continuously pressure increasing, so your construction will be very robust. But if I go with a multi-staging, so each stage there is a limitation of pressure rise, so construction will be not that much robust. So cost wise, construction wise, and temperature rise wise, it will be beneficial. Loss of air due to leakage is less. This is also an advantage. How it is less? If I am compressing whole charge in a single stage, so continuously it is compressing to very high pressure up to delivery, so there is a lot of chances if it gets some passage, some sealant, so it will break through and leak out. But if I reduce the pressure rise rate, so in first stage P1 to P2, second stage P2 to P3. So I am reducing the compression range in terms of pressure ratio. So leakage chances will be reduced. Higher volumetric efficiency, definitely, because we are providing intercooler. If we don't provide intercooler, this is very basic and repeatedly asked in your oral exam, why we provide intercooler. If we don't provide intercooler, so second stage intake will be in expanded form because high temperature, and that expanded form compressed air will be reduce the volumetric efficiency of second stage compressor. So we reduce the temperature, so volume will reduce, so your mass density will be high in second stage also, so definitely you get a higher volumetric efficiency. Effective lubrication is possible, yes, because less temperature in each stage, so lubrication will be proper. High pressure cylinder is designed to withstand a high pressure and low pressure. So there are two pressure ranges, low pressure and high pressure. So high pressure, definitely we have to design accordingly to sustain that high pressure delivery pressure. But it is a small cylinder, so design is very simple. Rather than compressing the whole charge in a single cylinder, so design become very complicated in that case. But still there are some disadvantages also. Design and construction is more complicated. Why more complicated? Because two cylinder, but having a single crankshaft, having a single drive, electric motor. So we have to design your crankshaft and connecting rod accordingly, and this design should be like that. Once your low pressure cylinder deliver, then your high pressure cylinder suction should be there. So design become little bit complicated. The initial cost is more because design is complicated, so initial cost will be complicated, but it is overall less weight, less robust as compared to single stage. Not suitable for low pressure ratio. If you are designing compressor for low pressure ratio, then go with a single stage compressor only. It needed additional component, intercooler, and its accessories like water pump, hose system, filter. So as I said, if your intercooler is not a air cooled system, then definitely you require water pump or coolant pump, radiator, and all these things. But it consumes power, but whatever be the overall power save, as compared to that, this accessory consuming negligible power, so we can afford it. The additional accessories like water pump consume power, so definitely, even though we are saying it is negligible, but no doubt it is a power loss. Whatever be the save power, definitely some part is going to loss here. Now the ideal or optimized intermediate pressure with perfect intercooling. So as I said, what is a perfect intercooling? So perfect intercooling is that when your intercooler bring back your compressed air to initial temperature. So in first stage, what is your initial temperature? It is atmospheric temperature at which you are taking in the air in your LP cylinder. After compression in low pressure cylinder, you deliver out. So definitely after compression, its temperature is rises. when it pass through your intercooler. So if your intercooling is perfect, that means after intercooling you bring back temperature to again your atmospheric temperature. That is called perfect intercooling. So here this is not a perfect intercooling. After intercooler we observe that 3 point and 3 dash point there is a difference. That's mean it is not bring back to initial temperature. Initial temperature, that's mean it will follow isothermal curve, but it is not bring back to initial temperature. So there is a gap. So it is imperfect intercooling. But if it is a perfect intercooling, so we get such kind of PV diagram. After intercooling, again our 2 dash point having a temperature exact equal to 1 point. So T1 will be equal to T2 dash. So again compression. So it gives maximum work save. In this case, imperfect intercooling, we definitely going to save work. But if we go with a perfect intercooling, so saved work will be more than this imperfect intercooling. Now the total work done. If we are, this is very important now, the derivation, it is asked many time in exam, many time in oral. So we are considering only 2 stage for simplicity. Okay, we can go with a 3 stage compression, 4 stage, 5 stage, but for simplicity we are taking a 2 stage compressor. Now in 2 stage compression with perfect intercooling, what is the total work done? So total work done will be the work done in LP cylinder stage 1 and plus work done in HP cylinder stage 2. So if we add the work done of each cylinder, it will give a total work done. Now first cylinder polytropic compression. So N upon N minus 1 P1 V1. This is our initial condition of air. What is pressure ratio in first stage? So it is compressing from P1 to P2. So pressure ratio is P2 upon P1 raised to the power N minus 1 upon N minus 1. This is our stage 1. This condition after compression in LP cylinder, it is entered to HP cylinder. So in HP cylinder, again polytropic compression take place. But this time, what is the intake of HP cylinder? Intake of LP cylinder is P1 V1. Intake of HP cylinder is P2, pressure wise P2 and volume wise V2 dash. Perfect intercooling. So this time our intake is P2 V2 dash. And what is the pressure ratio? So it is compressing from P2 to P3. So pressure ratio is P3 upon P2. So remaining formula we know, that is N minus 1 upon N minus 1. So these are 2 stage, 2 compression ratios. Now suppose we don't have that P1 and V1 values, because most of the time we don't know what is the exact inside pressure, exact inside volume. So we prefer to MRT. So we can write P1 V1 as MRT1 and P2 V2 dash as MRT2 dash. Okay, and as I said, if it is a perfect intercooling, so T2 dash must be equal to T1, because after intercooling it is bring back temperature to its initial temperature. So we have this equation MRT1, here MRT2 dash. If it is a perfect intercooling, so after intercooling our temperature T2 will be bring back as T1. That means we can replace T2 dash by T1. Now here N upon N minus 1 common. MRT1 again common because we replace T2 dash. So if we take a common, so N upon N minus 1, MRT1 is a common. So in whole bracket, square bracket, we remain pressure ratio in stage 1 minus 1, pressure ratio in stage 2 minus 1. So on simplifying, N upon N minus 1, MRT1, P2 upon P1, N minus 1 upon N, plus P3 upon P2, N minus 1 upon N, minus 1, it become minus 2. Clear? This is our stage 1 pressure rise ratio and this is our stage 2 pressure rise ratio. Now if pressure P1 and delivery pressure P3, so suction pressure is a P1, delivery pressure is a P3, are fixed. That means your customer saying, I will take air at this P1 pressure atmospheric and I am going to deliver this compressed air at P3 pressure. But I want this compression in 2 stage. So what will be the optimum intermediate pressure? Optimum intermediate pressure means, suppose I am compressing air from P1 to P2. I have to provide some work input, then from P2 to P3. Again, I am providing some work input. If P2 is very less, that means P1 to P2, I can easily compress. Then my major work will be P2 to P3. So I have to provide more work in second stage. Suppose, second case, suppose I kept P2 is very high. So in first stage, P1 to P2, I have to provide lot of work. And P2 to P3 is suppose very small pressure rise, so I have to supply small work. So how to optimize it? So our P2 pressure should be at that level where in both the stages we have to supply a minimum work. That is called optimum intermediate pressure. Definitely our suction pressure will be P1, delivery pressure will be P3. But what is the intermediate pressure? So intermediate pressure should be such that, so in both the stages, we can provide a minimum work requirement. So I am not saying P2 must be exact midpoint of P1 and P3. No, arithmetic mean it is not valid here. We have to decide the optimum pressure so that the minimum work should be required in both the stages. If I reduce the work in LP, so I have to increase the work in HP. If I reduce the work in HP, then I have to increase the work in LP. So to provide in both stage minimum, what is the optimum P2 value? That is called the optimum or ideal intermediate pressure. So now we will go to find out what is the ideal pressure. Till now, for 2-stage compression, we have this equation. Now we will find out optimum pressure. That means we are interested in finding what is the value of P2. So P2 value should be such that where we get a minimum work done in both the stages. For that, we will apply the condition, equate this work done with respect to P2. So differentiate work done with respect to P2 and equate to 0, just like a maximum conditions. So we are applying this condition. So differentiate work done with respect to P2 and equate to 0. So differentiating all this formula for polytropic work done and equating with 0. So for simplicity, there are number of powers. So for simplicity, n minus 1 upon n we are replacing as x coefficient, and reverse of this n upon n minus 1, it will be reverse of 1 x, so it become 1 upon x. So wherever we found this term, we will replace by x. Wherever there is a n upon n minus 1, we will replace by 1 upon x, only for the simplicity. So here n upon n minus 1 replacing by 1 by x, MRT1 as it is, P2 upon P1 raised to the power, so raised to the power become x, plus P3 upon P2 raised to the power again x minus 2. Now simplify this. So with respect to P2, 1 upon x, what is x? X is having a polytropic index. So polytropic index is constant with respect to P2. MRT1, it is also constant with respect to P2. So we are taking out, so 1 upon x, MRT1. Then differentiating with respect to P2, this whole bracket, and equal to 0. Now imagine if I shift this term on right hand side, so it becomes 0, because 0 multiplied by whole this term. So I am shifting to right hand side, so it becomes 0. So what is the final? So d by d of P2 into this whole bracket. Now in this bracket, I simplified this P2 raised to the power x, divide. So it become, if I take in a numerator, so it become minus. So P1 raised to the power minus x. Here P3 raised to the power x divided by P2 raised to the power x. If I shift into numerator, so it become P2 raised to the power minus x. So we have this equation. Now we will simplify this. So with respect to P2, P1 is a constant. So taken out, so P1 raised to the power minus x. Differentiate P2 raised to the power x plus P3. P3 is again constant with respect to P2, so taken out. Differentiate P2 raised to the power minus x, and again differentiating P2 about these two constant and equate to 0. So definitely it becomes 0. So P1 raised to the power minus x, what is the derivation of this? So it is x. P2 raised to the power x minus 1. So you know the basic mathematical formula. So differentiation of this, so it is power, come here, then P2 and power minus 1. So this is our basic formula of mathematics of differentiation. Then P3 raised to the power x. Now differentiation of this second term. So minus x is there. So multiply by minus x into P2 minus x of minus 1. And this is a constant term, so it becomes 0. Now we have a simplified form, P1 raised to the power minus x multiply by x multiply by P2 x minus 1. And second term is negative, that is minus P3 raised to the power x multiply by x P2 raised to the power minus x plus 1. So I am taking minus sign out, so it is minus x plus 1. Now this whole term is a negative. So if I shift it to right hand side, it becomes positive. So these two terms are now equate. Here x get cancelled. Now we have only these two terms. So rearranging such a way that, so P2 will be on one side. So here P2x minus 1. This P2 raised to the power minus x plus 1 will be in denominator. Then P3 raised to the power x divided by P1 raised to the power minus x. Simplify this. If I shift this into numerator, so it become negative. So negative, it become positive. So P2x minus 1, again P2x minus x plus 1. Here P3 raised to the power x, P1 raised to the power x. Now after this simplifying, so addition of power, so P2 x minus 1 plus x plus 1. So minus 1 plus 1 will be cancelled. So in next step we get P2 raised to the power twice x is equal to P3 raised to the power x, P1 raised to the power x. Now if I simplify this, so I get P2 square is equal to P3 multiplied by P1. So this is a very basic mathematics, you know already, you learn it in your first year or itself. Now simplify this. How to simplify this? So there are two options. First option, P2 square is a P3 P1. So if I take a value of P2, so it is nothing but a square root of P1 P3. What is a P1? P1 is suction pressure. What is P3? P3 is delivery pressure. So what is a ideal or optimized intermediate pressure P2 is? It is nothing but a square root of product of suction and delivery pressure. So this will give optimum P2 pressure, and at this P2 pressure we have to supply minimum work for LP as well as HP. But this equation we can write down in other form. P2 square, that means P2 multiplied by P2. Now rearrange in a form of ratio. So we can rearrange P2 upon P1 is equal to P3 upon P2. That means this is stage 1 pressure rise ratio. This is stage 2 pressurized ratio. So it means if there is a perfect intercooling and if you found ideal intermediate pressure, then each stage pressure rise ratio will be same. So LP cylinder pressure rise ratio is P2 upon P1. This is equal to second stage ratio P3 upon P2. If there is more stages, then it will be P4 upon P3, another P5 upon P4, likewise. So if it is an ideal optimized intermediate pressure with perfect intercooling, then each stage pressure ratio remain constant. Okay, so these are very important interpretation of these two datas. Intermediate pressure is a square root of delivery and suction pressure. Okay, another question, what it means? It is a square root. Okay, how much stages? 2 stages. So here actually it is 2. So square root, so 2. If there are 3, so we can say this is 3. Third root of P1 and P3. If it is a 5 stages, so we can put 5th root of P1 and P3, like that. Now come back to our work done. So our work done was this one formula, final formula, where stage 1 pressure ratio, stage 2 pressure ratio. Now here we come to know that P2 upon P1 is equal to P3 upon P2. So we can replace this value again by P2 upon P1. So we get P2 upon P1, second term also P2 upon P1. So it is nothing but twice. So twice P2 upon P1 and minus 2. So if I take 2 common, so this is 2 common, n upon n minus 1, MRT1, P2 upon P1. This is the regular formula of polytropic compression. But here, considering 2 stage, so multiply by 2. If suppose there are k number of stages, so we have to multiply k. So this is very simple formula. If it is a perfect intercooling and ideal intermediate pressure, so the formula will be the same. We have to just multiply the number of stages. If it is a 2, so we multiply by 2. If there are 10, so we can replace k by this 10 value. So k is a number of stages. Is there any doubt? Otherwise, we will see last 2 numericals. That will be our end of today's session. So, okay, we will go with the numericals, so your idea will be clear. So first numerical, 2-stage air compressor. So number of stages are 2 with perfect intercooling. Remember, these words are very important. 2-stage reciprocating compressor, perfect intercooling, takes in air at 1 bar. So it is a pressure P1, 2-stage pressure P1, suction pressure 1 bar, convert into Newton per meter square at 27 degrees centigrade. So T1 is 27, it is equivalent to 300 Kelvin. The law of compression in both the stages is PV raised to the power 1.3 equals to constant. What it means? It means it is a polytropic compression and compression index is 1.3. That means N value is 1.3. The compressed air is delivered at 9 bar. So delivery pressure is 9 bar from HP cylinder. And as it is a 2-stage, so our PV diagram will be like this. Stage 1 compression up to 2 point, perfect intercooling. That means your 2 dash lie on this isothermal curve. Again, second stage compressor, compression 3 point, and then delivery. So HP and LP cylinder. Now first, minimum work of compression. So considering ideal intermediate pressure, minimum work required when it is a ideal intermediate pressure. How to identify ideal intermediate pressure if it is a 2-stage? So it is a square root of suction and delivery pressure. So P2 is square root of P1 and P3. P1 is given, P3 is given. So after calculating, we come to know that P2 is 3 bar. If I convert into Newton per meter square, so 3 into 10 raised to the power 5. So this is the perfect intermediate pressure. Now minimum work for two-stage compression. So we know that number of stages. So K will be 2. So we are replacing K by 2. Remaining formula is a regular formula where we have to put the pressure ratio P2 upon P1. M is not given. R, it is a characteristic gas constant standard value. T1 it is given. So whenever any quantity is not given, just like here mass flow rate is not given, so either assume mass flow rate is as a 1 or shift it to second side. So we will calculate work done per unit mass flow rate. So in this case mass flow rate is not given, so we shift it, it will become work done per unit mass flow rate. Either you assume 1 or shift it. So after calculating, we come to know that work done per kg is 215.324 kilojoule per kg of air, because it is already said per kg of air. So this is minimum work required in two-stage compression from P1 to P3 pressure. Now the second question, heat rejected in intercooler. Now here intercooling is started from point 2 and end at 2 dash. So heat is rejected when temperature is reduced from T2 to T2 dash. So heat rejected per kg, because mass flow rate we don't know. So heat rejected mCp delta T, that is a very well known formula. M we don't know, so we will shift it. So heat rejected per kg will be there. Cp of air, so specific heat of air, if it is given, okay, take it. If it is not given, then always assume as a 1. So specific heat of air is almost equals to 1. If it is given 1 point something, so we have to take it. Otherwise, we have to always assume as a 1. So Cp is 1. Now T1 we know that it is 300 or 27 degrees centigrade. T2 we don't know. So we have to first calculate T2. So how to come? So we know that 1 to 2 is a polytropic compression. So use a polytropic compression relation. So P2 upon P1 is nothing but T2 upon T1 raised to the power n upon n minus 1. Simplify this. So we are interested in finding a T2 temperature. So T2 will be T1 into pressure ratio raised to the power n minus 1 upon n. And we know that it is 1.3. P1 it is given. P2, so we already find out the perfect intercooling intermediate pressure P2. So from this we come to know our T2 temperature is 386.57. So heat rejected, sorry, here there is a mistake, it should be T2 dash. Okay, no doubt T1 is also correct, because T2 dash is nothing but the T1, because perfect intercooling. So T2 dash will reduce to T1, that is initial temperature 300. So T2 minus T2 dash or T2 minus T1. So putting the value Cp as 1, T2 as 386.57 and T2 dash is 300. So 300 is nothing but a T1. So if we put these values, we come to know that heat rejection is 86.57. So in intercooler, 86.57 kilojoule per kg of air is heat rejected. Now the last of the sub question, that is work required for single stage compressor for the same delivery pressure. Now we saw if it is a multi-stage compressor, so the value multi-stage compressor total work done is 250. Now we will see if it is compressed in a single stage, what will be the work required. So single stage compressor, that means we are compressing from P1 to direct P3 pressure. So N upon N minus 1, MRT1. Pressure ratio will be from P1 to P3. There is no intermediate pressure because it is a single stage. So put the values, calculate. So it comes 246. If multi-stage, it is 215, and now it is 246. That means multi-staging actually saving the work. Now the last problem for today's session, a very important problem because it is asked in last university exam. It looks like very difficult, but it is actually very simple. A reciprocating air compressor has a 4 stages compression. So remember, compression takes place in 4 stages. So first stage P1 to P2, then P2, P3, likewise 4 stages with 2 meter cube per minute. What is this? This is not a mass flow rate. This is a volume flow rate, meter cube. It is not a kg per minute. So 2 meter cube per minute. So 4 stages. So P1 is our intake pressure. First stage P1 to P2, second stage P2 to P3, P3 to P4, P4 to P5. So 4 stages. So this is LP cylinder and extreme top is HP cylinder, and intermediate, that is called intermediate pressure cylinder. So intermediate pressure cylinder 1, intermediate pressure cylinder 2. If we follow compression polytropic, so 1 to 2, then intercooler, perfect intercooler, so T2 dash will be equal to T1. Then again compression up to 3, then perfect intercooling, so again T3 dash, it is again equal to T1. Compression T4 dash after intercooling, again equal to T1. So likewise, if we provide a perfect intercooling, so it will bring back temperature as your initial. So 4 stage, so number of stages 4. Volume flow rate is given 2 meter cube per minute. Air being deliver at 150. So final delivery pressure P5 is 150 bar. When initial pressure and temperature are 1 bar and 27 degrees centigrade. So P1 is 1 bar and T1 is 27 degrees centigrade. Compression occurs polytropic, following polytropic index of 1.25. Each stage and value is 1.25. In 4 stages with perfect intercooling between the stages. So that means after intercooling, temperature will be bring back to initial T1 temperature. For the optimum intercooling condition, determine the intermediate pressure and work required for driving compressor. So we have to find out intermediate pressure and work requirement. Intermediate pressure such that it should require a minimum work done in each stage because it is optimum intermediate pressure. So perfect intercooling is there. Now we will see intermediate pressure. So as I said in previous slides that when we find out any square root, because it is a 2 stage, now it is a k time of stages. That's mean 1, 2, 3, 4 stages. So k value is 4. So in this case, we have to take k time of root of delivery upon intake pressure. So k time of root delivery upon intake pressure will be equal to each stage pressure rise. So P2 upon P1, this is pressure rise in LP. P3 upon P2, rise in IP1. P4 upon P3, rise in IP2, and P5 upon P4, pressure rise in HP cylinder. So this will be a constant, but we don't know the intermediate pressure, but we know what is the delivery pressure and what is the intake pressure and number of stage. So if I put number of stages 4, delivery pressure 150, intake pressure 1, so I come to know that Y value is 3.4996, and this must be equal to all this pressure ratio. Now one by one I will take a pressure ratio. So first Y is equal to first stage P2 upon P1. Y value is 3.4996. P2 I don't know, but what is the P1 value? It is 1. So from this P2 is 3.4996 0.4996. Whether it is increased, yes, P1 is 1, and now after compression it becomes 3.4. Now same Y is equal to second stage P3 upon P2. This time Y value same, but I know what is the value of P2. Put the value of P2 here, so P3 will be 12.2472 bar. Same compression ratio, so Y is equal to P4 upon P3. Put the values, so P4. P5 we already know it is 150. So likewise P1, P2, P3, P4, all intermediate pressures, suction and delivery pressure we come to know. So these are the intermediate pressures. Now the second question, that is work required. So the common basic formula, polytropic work done, K number of stages, and the regular formula. So put here number of stages 4, all the values, pressure ratio, any stage pressure ratio, because it is constant. You can put P3 upon P2 instead of P2 upon P1. So put the values, calculate it. So we come to know that the work required is 18.98 kilowatt.